Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing a foundation routine for beginners. So if something you want to watch, please do keep on watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give your girl a big thumbs up. Right now, let's go straight into this video. So we're starting with the Pierce baby cream as my moisturizer. Guys, it doesn't matter if you have oily skin or not, moisturizing is really important. After moisturizing, let it sit in first before you go in with your primer. I'm using Zaron primer today. I applied this all over my face because I have very oily skin. So I let it set in again, let it dry up before I go in with the Pond's primer. I'm using too much primer, right? This one I just applied on my T-zone, those areas I produce all the most. So for my foundation, I'm using the Zaron. In my skin foundation, I'm using just 2 pumps to begin with, using a brush, a dense brush, just to dab all over my face. And this foundation is buildable, but you don't really need too much foundation as a beginner when you're starting. So I tap this one all over my face and I avoid those areas underneath my eyes. So after using the dense brush, I go in with the beauty blender, a damp beauty blender. I tap to make sure the foundation is well blended. So for my contour, I have these 2 foundations. This one is warm tone, this one is cold tone. So I'm using both together, mixing it, warming it with the brush, then apply it on my cheekbone to make my cheekbone pop. I'm using a dabbing motion too. I'm applying it on my hairline, so that I will not look like I have a mask on. So I use that same thing to contour my nose. Why I mix those two? Because the other one is always too cold, the other one is always too warm. So that combination is always the perfect thing for my skin. So if you are a liquid blush, this is the time you go in with your blush. And I'm mixing these 2 shades. I'm using that damp beauty sponge to apply this too. And in my case, I always say blush is never enough. So after applying the blush, I go in with the concealer. I'm using this Flawless Ivy concealer with a setting powder. And I'm always, after applying my concealer, after blending it out, I do set it in immediately. That's why once I start applying concealer, I make sure that my setting powder is ready. I blend it in with that same beauty sponge. I use a dabbing motion. I don't spread this all over my face. I just highlight just the places I need the light to hit on. Those places I want to be brighter than the rest of my face are just where I highlight. After that, I now set with the setting powder. Immediately I'm done using that same beauty sponge. And I don't bake. I just put in the setting sponge in the powder, pull out the excess, then dab the remaining one on my face. I'm still using a dabbing motion on this one too. And I do have smile lines, so I set my smile lines to so it will not crease. I use that same concealer that I used underneath my eye to conceal my brows. This beginning, some people prefer to use their foundation, but it's always more difficult, so I prefer to use the least I could, then blend it out with my hands. Then for the top of my brows, I use my foundation because it will be easier to blend in since I already applied foundation already. Trying to avoid that hollow brow effect. After I apply, I dab it in with my hands. You can use the brush if you do have. So on today's look, I'm just using just one eyeshadow, since I wanted the concentration should be on the foundation. So why I use that brown is because I'll use it and set my contour area on my nose, and I'm not using a concealer on my eyelid today. So for my pressed powder, I'm using the Avo palette and the Flawless palette. I'm using that one to set my nose contour. Guys, and you should take time. I'm always saying take time on your nose contour, because how you contour your nose, that's how your nose is going to look. If you contour it funny, it will look funny. So I'm using that brush. This step is really important. With my Damn Beauty sponge, apply it, then dab it all over my face. That powder is the same color as my skin tone. Use the same beauty sponge, press on the powder, then dab it all over my face. See, I didn't set my contour area anymore. Then the blush, I'm using that blush to set that area. If you go in now with a darker powder, it will look funny. That's why I didn't really set it in again. So I go to my eye and line my eyes. After this, I think it's since I didn't really do anything with the eyes today, so I really wanted that dramatic wing. And I tight line my eye area too. Tight lining always make those gaps you see when you apply your lashes, you don't see it anymore. Then I line my waterline. And as a beginner, this method of applying your lashes is easier, and it will save you a lot of stress. You just when the glue is almost getting dried up, just pressing your extensions, your falsies, to just stay in place. As you just put it, since you just line it, just stay in place. Then you set everywhere. Bath our face with our setting spray using Kids Beauty. So guys, this is the final look. Hope you learned something from today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, give a big thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.